Get the truth on how to achieve real results in your client's skin health. All Truth Treatment Systems products have one thing in common. They work. Made with 100% active and functional ingredients. No fillers, preservatives, waxes, emulsifiers, oils, or fragrances. Truth has leveraged the latest biochemical knowledge and proven strategies to deliver the most nourishing products that meet the strictest performance standards. Visit truthtreatmentspro.com or download the Truth 360 app from your phone's app store. ASCP members, log on to ascpskincare.com now to access your limited time discount code.
You are listening to ASCP Esty Talk, where we share insider tips, industry resources, and education for estheticians at every stage of the journey. Let's talk, because ASCP knows it's all about you.
Hello, and welcome to ASCP's Esty Talk. I'm Ella Cressman, licensed esthetician, certified organic formulator, content contributor for Associated Skincare Professionals, and very excited to be joined by today's guest.
I'm a guest. Hi, I'm Tracy Donley, Executive Director of Associated Skincare Professionals. You've probably heard me before, but I'm the guest.
You're not only the guest, you're
I'm not
also
only
the
the
focus of this podcast.
Oh, you know I love the spotlight, girl.
I know you do, and I also know you are a mingle queen.
Yeah, kind of a networker. You know, you and you and you and you.
And I know you're very popular. A lot of people love you and they love seeing you, and they love seeing you at the trade shows.
Oh, I love them.
So today is all about how to get the most out of trade shows from an expert. In 2021, we saw a return to trade shows despite a few awkward moments with elbow bumps and reluctant handshakes. But good news, 2022 is the comeback year for in-person events.
Thank goodness.
Ooh.
I was dying. I missed everybody so much.
Whether it's your first time attending a trade show or you're a pro, we're super excited to talk to Tracy about her experience. Tracy, how many different types of industry trade shows and events have you attended?
Oh, Ella, I think part of really learning the industry, which was so important because everyone knows I'm not an esthetician, I'm just a business builder. But I wanted to soak it all in. I wanted to really understand what that esthetician lifestyle is, like who they are, what drives them, all that good stuff. So, it's got to be well over maybe 30 plus different trade shows and events. Who knew there's so many things out there, but there are, from huge, gigantic, very impressive 60,000 plus person shows to, really great events that are truly networking that maybe there's only 25 people. So it's been a lot. I love it.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
Oh, wow. You know what? You and I actually met at a trade show. Do you remember?
Oh my gosh. Did we meet at NASM Pro?
No. We met at the CBD conference.
Yes,
at the Gaylord Hotel.
That was put on by American Spa.
Yeah. And it was the special. And can you imagine having
Oh my God, I fell in love with you. It was like a girl crush. It was so sick.
Well, I was sitting in a booth and you walked up and you're like, oh my God, Ella Cressman. And I was like, oh my God, that's Tracy. It was like crazy.
I got to put the face with the name. I had heard the name so much.
Well, speaking of that trade show, can you imagine having a trade show dedicated to vitamin C?
I think they actually should. That'd probably actually be a better trade show. Yeah,
show?
If Ben Fuchs was here right now, he would be like, hell yeah.
Let's do it. But yes, there's all different kinds of trade shows like you mentioned. Actually, earlier this week, I was at Live Love Spa.
I've been hearing so much about them. Tell me just a tiny bit about it, will you?
I thought it was great. I thought it was...
Was it intimate?
Very intimate, and it was well organized, in my opinion. So what was different about it? There's all different kinds of trade shows.
Well, and they do those all over the country. So that's kind of a cool thing is when there's regional shows versus, or even state specific shows. That's like, it comes to your area. I love that.
Yeah. And it was smaller. It was definitely, the exhibitors, they gave away full-size products.
Smart.
It was fantastic. There was an experiential portion and there was like a floor, but it wasn't like a trade show floor. It was like a room. But what was really cool afterwards is they had a mingling session, a networking happy hour.
That's the best.
And you got one drink ticket. And in order to get a second drink ticket, you had to go meet other new people. So it was very well organized.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Different from like the Vegas show. I think a lot of people think of the Vegas show as like the gold standard of trade shows. But tell us more about your experiences.
Well, I think you're right. I mean, there's everything from the very big shows. I do really appreciate the big shows because a lot of times that's where I will find up and coming new product lines, more the indie lines. And I'm always looking for new concepts to bring to our estheticians and to talk about in the magazine. I do think that mixing it up, I think, is good because what you'll see is a lot of the vendors and a lot of the supplier classes, as well as the education tracks, that I think to mix it up is going to give you a more diversity in just the education and the exposure to the different vendors.
I remember my first trade show was probably 2007, and I went to Vegas. But I remember a couple things. First thing, I remember walking in feeling completely overwhelmed because that's a sister show to the hair. You remember hair?
International Beauty Show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that was the
next thing. That was the next thing that I thought is, why would anyone name a show IBS?
I know. Well, just for defense of them, they did try to rebrand it and no one liked rebranding it and they couldn't not say IBS. So
anyhow, we digress.
I digress.
The IBS, the International Beauty Show. But I remember feeling completely overwhelmed with, there was free education, there was paid education, there was all these different booths of people to talk to, not just in skin and spa and such, but also in the hair side. And I was not prepared.
Well, I think the good thing about the way that show is always put together is they have the beautiful white carpeting or gray soft color palette on the skincare side, on the IECSC side. And then they have the black carpeting and the music that's like, oosh, oosh, oosh,
yeah.
oosh, and people are on the headphones and they're like, come on over here, we'll do the blah, blah, blah. So you can like try to split your brain and go, okay, I'm ready for this. And then
stay on the gray carpet and no one gets hurt.
That's right. Pretty much.
And you don't walk away with bangs.
That's real.
Because that's something that happens in Vegas that doesn't stay in Vegas.
It follows you home, unfortunately. And then you've got bangs. Not that I have a problem with bangs, but they're big upkeep. Anyhow.
That's a lot. So tell us about like the different, you've been to all of these different shows and you talked about the different education. I know you're actually a speaker at some of these shows as well. So what's the biggest difference in education opportunities? Well, I think you can speak generally too and talk about the different ones.
Well, I think it's really nice. The majority of the programs, if we're still talking about the big shows, they're going to have an educational track that is non-brand specific, right? And then they're going to also have what they typically call as their supplier classes. And they both have major value. So don't think just because it's a supplier class and it's branded that you're not going to get some really great education, because every single one of those classes that I popped into are super valuable. So not only are they giving you a little background on an insight on their product line, but they're going to talk to you about a protocol or something that maybe you aren't considering in your treatment room, right? I mean, you're going to laugh, but I'm going to tell this really funny story just super quick. And here's what it is. I was doing a supplier class. We were speaking about ASCP, and I was so excited. I was walking up to my classroom, and it is lined up. I mean, people are like backed up to get into my classroom. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm thinking, this is going to be awesome. It's going to be definitely standing room only. I don't even know how we're going to pack them in. Anyhow, so I get up to my classroom. I walk in the door, and there's like 20 people in there. And I'm thinking, why aren't these people funneling in? What's happening? Well, it turns out they are all in line for anal bleaching. So I guess like anal bleaching ranks a little bit more than learning how to start your solo practice. Okay.
That brings me to you just said something that was so important, because I've been to a lot of trade shows now at this point, and there is something I do take from this, because the other classes, like the non-brand brand specific. Those are
Yep.
extra money.
The education track. Yep.
So when you're a new esthetician starting out, or you're starting out your business, it might be like, why should I pay extra for this trade show? Because the trade show costs in and of itself, like travel, not to mention the cost of the show and
Right.
food and everything. But
But I would just mention to that part of how much it costs. If you're an ASCP member, another shameless plug, we offer discounts to members to these shows because we believe that this education is very valuable. So,
100%.
Yeah.
And I think I've taken something from all of those classes.
Even the supplier classes, right?
Especially the supplier
Yeah.
classes. There's one I'll tell you about, and not to plug a brand, but there is a brand that has exclusivity. Like they don't sell to a lot of people. So it's another reason to go to trade shows because you can pick it up.
Right.
But they have a high minimum. They have exclusivity. You can't be within certain miles of other retailers. But they have the best classes. And I don't mean like knowledge. I know other brands have amazingly like science-packed classes and knowledge-packed classes, which are awesome too. But this one was eminence. And I walked into this
Was
class.
Boldeshar giving it?
Yes. And
Yeah.
the lights were dim. There was
Oh
a
my
huge
gosh.
beach ball going back and forth, and there was some upbeat music. And I watched him give a massage, a facial massage. And it wasn't the technique. It was almost like permission to be myself and not this like massage that I learned in school, which is like very mechanical and like checklisty. And I
Yeah.
watched him do it and I thought, I love that. Like I was smiling ear to ear. I was pumped
And
up
that
about
is
that.
the inspiration that you can get at trade shows. It's not all just about formulas and products and things like that. I mean, you should go to these shows, right? To feel inspired.
Yeah. And even to feel inspired, to pick up tips, to take advantage of the show discounts, because a lot of these manufacturers have show discounts, but also to see what else is new out there. For example, on that Live Love Spa, little tiny show in comparison. Like, I don't even know how big the room was, but the most exciting thing for me was checking a couple of really, really cool skincare lines, but I was really drawn to these patches.
Are these the sunscreen ones?
No.
Oh, tell me
There
more.
were these patches. It was like, they were vitamin patches. They had,
Oh, I love those.
Yeah.
It's transdermal vitamins. So you don't have to swallow pills, right? Is that what you're talking about? You're
Right.
literally getting your vitamins transdermal, which I'm all about just because of the fact that I hate swallowing pills. I'm an anti-swallowing pill person.
But these ones are called the Good Patch.
I
think
love
that was the
it.
name of them, the Good Patch. We could put it in the show notes
Yeah.
what it was. But what I loved about them is their packaging. And I could see, and the no minimums, not that I'm plugging them, but I could see this as a
But you
cash
kinda
wrap,
are.
as a cash wrap item that I would never have sought out.
No, I mean, when you think about, okay, so we do the rogue pharmacist and we're always talking about, topical nutrients, but we're also talking about the importance of nutrients internally, right? I mean, what a great retail product to say, boop, there you go. Hey guys, stop. Let's take a quick break.
Elibana, Australian-born, globally loved. Elibana's story is simple. They love lashes and brows. They shoot for the stars and lift lashes to new heights. Their addiction is real, their passion is popping, and there is nothing more they crave than offering excellence, service, and innovation in products. Elibana Lash Lift allows you to offer your customers luscious, lifted lashes that can last up to 12 weeks in one safe, 20-minute treatment. Learn more at elibana-usa.com.
Let's get back to the conversation. When you are especially a newer esthetician or you're looking to, we've been talking a lot about it's important to relook at your treatment menu, the services that you're offering, blah, 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 right? But I think this is a great opportunity to invest in this additional education because it is cash and carry at a lot of these shows. So you don't have to buy their whole line. You can literally purchase 6 products and you can try them out, whether it's on your clients or on yourself, and you can then determine if this is a new line that you want to bring into your spa or your treatment room or what have you. I like the fact that you don't have to invest in a full line.
Yeah.
It's so great.
And there's a lot of show discounts and such too.
Yeah, and you can try them out. A lot of times they're doing demos like right in their booth. I mean, there's just so much. And then even too, just standing at the booths and talking to people, you end up talking to fellow estheticians, and you just never know who you're going to chat with or why they like that product or what they're thinking about when they're including it. Everyone is really open about their business and what they're trying to achieve. And I think it's just inspirational. I literally come back happily exhausted from every trade show.
Blissfully exhausted.
Blissfully exhausted. Yes.
Well, since you're the expert, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions from the esthetician point of view for those who may have never been to a trade show or been to just one?
Lay it on me. I'll try to answer the best I can.
All right. Let's start with, how do I choose which shows to attend? You kind of talked about regional, you talked about diversifying, but what's a good way to start?
Well, I'm a pen and paper girl. So I would say that you should write down what your priorities are going to be, your outcomes that you're looking for to achieve by attending this trade show, whichever one it is, right? So do you want to network with other estheticians? Are you looking to get a specific education on a certain line or on a modality? And then also to, what can you afford, right? So those are important. Those are just some of the ones that I would mention. And then you can kind of dive down. So you can say, if it's networking, then maybe one of the big shows is not ideal. To tell you the truth, I would probably recommend going to something more like Live, Love, Spa, right? Or even the NASM Pro. Those are fantastic for that too. But if you're looking to really get a huge diversity of lines that are out there and even indie lines and things of that nature, I probably would go to the bigger show. And if your budget allows, you're going to take a look at how close are these shows in proximity to where I live and all of those types of things as well.
So you brought up a couple of great points. So what kind of cost can I expect to pay? That might be a question people would have.
Yeah. So I think that you can expect to pay anything from like $0, depending on the show, all the way up to the most I've seen for an attendee pass would be $900. Now, when you start to couple in with some of the shows, how you mentioned, there's the floor pass, which might be $250. And then the education track, depending on the show, it could be $500. Then you are still getting up into that $900 range.
And I think you have to think of too, travel.
100%. I mean, some cities are way more expensive than other ones. I mean, there's a show, Premiere. They have a big show that's in Orlando. That's their biggest show. But we were actually just talking about them earlier today, is that they have a smaller one that's in Birmingham, Alabama. So, you're going to look at your hotel costs. It's going to be quite a bit less. Now, remember too, that when you are attending these shows, all of these trade shows do have hotels that they partner with. So you get special rates. So I can tell you, when you go to Las Vegas, you might normally pay $500 a night to go to Mandalay Bay. But if you can get on the room block before it is all taken up, you might be able to go to Mandalay Bay for $230 a night. So, there are some discounts that do come along with all of them.
So pre-planning is key.
It is key. Like literally, you should be looking in January or December and say, what is my plan for the next year?
Nice. Yeah, that's great advice. What about, this is another one. Should I come to the show ready to buy?
I'd say yes, because that will allow you to take advantage of big discounts. But what I would say is do a little bit of research on that company that you're interested in prior to going, and have specific questions written down so that when you get that FaceTime in front of that company, you know the questions you're going to ask and are able to determine, how much can I afford in my business? Can I afford this much? Can I bring in what their expectations are of me?
And I think too, it's good to understand, I think there's twofold to that question, right? So if you're going to peruse,
right,
and to discover is one intention.
Investigate.
Yeah. Versus I'm ready to buy and I want to pull the trigger and I also want to see this and this and this, because there are some phenomenal discounts. And then also a lot of companies do a show just on a sidebar. like secret sister time. A lot of companies do show discounts even without attending.
Oh, they totally do. If you just call up and you're like, hey, I went to the IEC Las Vegas show, or I went to the IEC Esty New York show, and are we going to get in trouble for telling all the sisters out there?
Well,
about
no,
this?
they even just run, hey, it's a show discount day one. You don't even have to.
Yeah. And just say, and I wanted to get that.
No, they'll advertise show discount.
Oh,
Even though you're not at the
in general.
show,
Oh,
everybody
okay.
gets it.
Oh, okay.
There was a bigger show discount at the show, but a lot of people will give like 10% off still.
Yeah.
Keep an eye
Face
out
and
for
Body
that.
has that. So does Premiere. So does, I mean, they're discounting. They want to get you in the loop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the education tracks. They all look so good. How do I prioritize my time and decide which are best?
It can be overwhelming. Here's the good news. You're going to go online prior to going to the show. You're going to look at all the education tracks. Maybe there are 2 competing ones. You want to see both, but you can't be in 2 places. Good news. Guess what? Sometimes they will repeat that exact education class later on during the time. So, check it out. But you're going to have to really determine like what your outcomes, like we said before, write it down on a piece of paper. What are the outcomes that you are looking to achieve? Because here's the thing as well. It's really exhausting or challenging. If you are going to spend a ton of time in classes, it's hard to then change that energy, because it is an energy change, to then go down to the show floor and get it going and fight the crowds to get the information that you're looking to get. And that's why I always say, if there is specific information that you want, that you're trying to get from a vendor, look into going to their supplier class.
Mhm.
Oh, and another little super secret, sneaky sneak, is a lot of times if you do attend a supplier class, they have even a better, bigger special discount for the people who attend their supplier classes. So if there's something that you are wanting to buy or include in your practice, then go to the supplier class, because you're going to get the super on the down low.
And stay
good
the
deal.
whole time.
And
Don't just walk in and walk out. That's so rude.
Yeah, it's so rude. And they're not going to give you the special dealio.
No.
They're going to say that to the end.
I guess another really good question on that note is, what are some of the biggest mistakes trade show attendees make that you think of?
Just showing up and letting you just not having a plan. I mean, if you don't have a plan, you're not going to get what you want. And you're going to feel overwhelmed, disillusioned, disenchanted, discouraged, all the disses. You're going to feel dissed. Okay. Pretty much dissed.
And then you can just dismiss yourself.
Yeah.
I think the biggest mistake I did the first time is I went cute. I went so cute.
Like what?
Head
In
to
like
toe.
cute clothes?
And cute
Like,
shoes
oh,
more than anything.
That is like such a
Rookie
big
mistake.
rookie mistake.
So-
no.
Don't be afraid to wear your Dr.
I
Scholl's.
always say, like, literally, I want to have a booth that just sells flip flops.
They do. And
I'm going to sell them for $10 a piece and buy them for $1.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or foot stuff. I mean, that's what I bought. That's what I spent a lot of money on, is foot stuff. Because I work trade shows too.
Yeah.
That was the other experience I had, is with
Oh,
brands. I'd work trade
brutal.
shows. And I'm like, at the end, I'm like, oh, foot relieving lotion. I came home, my bag was filled with like foot relieving cream,
I
foot
know.
lotion.
Well, bring that. I mean,
flip-flops.
that's actually a good little hack. Bring that so that you have it in your hotel room,
Yeah.
and you can do that at night because you'll need it. I mean, you're going to need a lot of things in your arsenal bag. Like, should I tell you what I think you should put in your overnight bag?
Yeah.
So I think you should have foot cream. I think you should have some kind of a pain reliever like Tylenol or ibuprofen, and then probably some emergency. Make sure that you have a bottle of Gatorade, because you're going to be having very long days, very, very long days. And hopefully you're taking advantage of all the networking parties. And that's one big mistake I would say that people do not do, is that they don't realize that there's tons of evening events that are happening like crazy. Right? So make sure that you are paying attention to the promos that are coming out from the show in that app, because now everything's pretty much in a show app. So make sure you're checking that out. You might have to RSVP ahead of time. But I think you need that. You need comfy shoes. You need comfy clothes. And let's be real, just wear black. Everything matches. And then, and just make it comfy.
And bring baggage to take home, or be prepared to ship home.
Yes, 100%. And by the way, when I was mentioning those networking events, make sure that you are attending the ASCP Readers' Choice Awards event at the IECSC Las Vegas show. You will not regret it. It is so much fun. It's drinks, networking, and it's just a fun time.
Well, thank you so much, Tracy. What an amazing perspective. Now, listeners, we want to hear from you. Are you attending trade shows this year? Tell us your favorite ones, and we hope to see you there. Share with us on social media by commenting on our Instagram or Facebook posts, or by emailing getconnected@ascpskincare.com. Thank you for listening to ASCP Esty Talk. And for more information on this episode, or for ways to connect with Maggie or myself, or to learn more about ASCP, check out the show notes. Until next time, thank you so much for listening.
Thanks for joining us today. If you like what you hear and you want more, subscribe. If you want to belong to the only all-inclusive association for estheticians that includes professional liability insurance, education, industry insights, and an opportunity to spotlight your 6 skills, join at ascpskincare.com. Only $259 per year for all this goodness. ASCP knows it's all about you.